Good morning, traders. It is Monday, the 1st of December, 2025. I'm your host, Jason Allen. As always, welcome back from the long holiday weekend. Hope you had a great time with friends and family and ate too much and started thinking about your New Year's resolutions because that's what's coming up next. But we're all ready to roll for today anyway. So let's go ahead and get right to work. Let me hit this button here. Okay, here's our thought to get us rolling today. Above all things, never be afraid. The enemy who forces you to retreat is himself afraid of you at that very moment. And this was said by Andre Maurois. I think you pronounce it like that. Maurois. Maurus. French person, author, and poet. Never read any of his poetry, but I like this quote. My thought is this when it comes to fear. Many people never stop to think about how fear drives almost every aspect of our lives. Why are there guarantees on things? Because you don't want to buy it, you're afraid to buy it and have it not work. Right? That's a possibility, isn't it? Why do we take so many pills and supplements, in some cases lots of drugs? We're afraid of getting sick. We don't want to get sick, and we fear the process. It's distasteful. Fear is everywhere. You know, why do we cross, when we cross the street, why do we, are supposed to? Some people, I've seen people start walking across the street and not even look. Obviously, those people shouldn't be in the gene pool. But why do we look both ways before we cross the street? Well, we don't want to get hit by a car. We're afraid we'll get hit by a car. Maybe fear isn't necessarily a bad thing in some cases, but fear is part of our daily life. And in the marketplace, this particular problem is epidemic. Every single trader I've ever met is scared to death every single time they decide to do something. Is that healthy? I don't think so. What I think Andre is trying to tell us here is that the enemy, who is our opponent, the person on the other side of our trade, is just as scared as you are, or more so. And that fear is what prompts and motivates almost every transaction in the marketplace. Why do people panic and rush to get in or panic and rush to get out? Fear of missing out. They're afraid that they will lose the opportunity if they're out and they want to be in. Or if they're in and they want to be out, they're afraid that their losses will mount. My personal point of view is that conquering fear does not mean doing stupid things, but conquering fear means we have to be prepared to do the opposite of what the crowd is doing, and we have to be okay with that at any split second or moment. That means if the crowd is in wanting to be out and they panic on one side of the market and there's a huge counter trend move, something that you just did not expect, you need to be prepared to execute into that on the other side. In other words, if there's this massive rally that you didn't see coming and everybody's scared to death that it means that the market quality has changed and there's a big rally out of nowhere because of fear, you need to be prepared to sell into that. Because that's where the opportunity is now becoming better than 65 or 70%, maybe heading the probability closer to 100%. And yeah, there are trades that are out there that are 100% probabilities of a change in direction. We can talk about that some other time. But right now, what I want to just ask you to consider and focus in on to get started for the last month of the year is the issue of how does fear participate in your trading? Where do you have a degree of fear that maybe you hadn't really even thought of? That perhaps it is actually motivating your execution, like most of the losers in this business have, unfortunately, is they're motivated by fear more than anything else. And that's why they execute when and where they do. Can you study your own fear and learn enough about how fear works so that you'll be able to see it when it shows up in the marketplace and then have the confidence to take the other side. Is that a learnable skill? I would say to you, yes, it is a learnable skill. It takes time and effort, commitment, and a little change of thinking. But yeah, you can learn how to recognize fear in the market and how to take the other side, because that is where the probabilities become the highest. But fear is everywhere. So don't let it discourage you, because fear is a natural part of life at some points, but you don't want to let it dominate you. And you need to know where it's showing up in your trading, because the guy you're competing with is just as scared as you are all the time. Somebody has to rise above that in order to see where the real opportunities are. Guys, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow, Tuesday, the 2nd. In between now and then, good luck, good trading, and thanks for making me a part of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.